Hey, what's up, it's Nerve. Sorry for not uploading anything in the past week or so. I've been dealing with a bunch of stuff, which I'll talk about later. I'm going to focus this commentary solely on Modern Warfare. And let me start out by saying thanks to Drifter, since I stole his PC gameplay for this commentary. He's one of the only PC gamers that I watch that uploaded a PC gameplay, so I can't monetize videos anyway, and hopefully he doesn't mind. But I will also link his channel down in the description. So Modern Warfare, as a game, it looks fun, interesting, and unique in some ways, but as a Call of Duty, it looks, bordering annoying. And I'm going to go with the negatives first because I have more of those to talk about. The positives, most of you already know what those would be, but I will discuss those later. So to start off with, there's no minimap. It doesn't make the game more realistic. Just give us the option to turn it on and off along with the compass. That's what I would do. You know, their idea to fix the minimap situation is to make it possible to see your teammates through walls like you can in other FPS games, but why? Like literally, why spend so much freaking effort to keep the minimap out of the game when that's the simplest and most wanted option? Instead of just having the minimap, they want to waste time coding player outlines into the game. Meanwhile, the minimap is there, you just can't see it until you get a UAV. It makes no sense. There's too many attachments in my opinion. I feel like they need to narrow them down to maybe 10-15 and take away the negative effects, so all of the attachments have positive and negative effects to deal with. For instance, the fact that grips will reduce your movement and ADS speeds across the board makes zero sense from a quote-unquote realism standpoint. Having a grip on your gun isn't going to slow you down in real life, and it would obviously increase the speed at which you could acquire targets when you ADS. So I don't understand why they even did that to the grips, but all of the attachments are that way. The game has realistic bullet drop, and this isn't Battlefield. If I wanted to play a game with bullet drop and other things which make the combat seem more believable, I'll play something other than Call of Duty, because that's not what Call of Duty is all about. This game also still has specialists. They aren't called that anymore, but you still earn abilities which charge at a slow rate, just like they did in Black Ops 3 and 4. You got things like radar drones that will highlight enemy targets through walls, plantable head glitch shields, and ammo boxes, among other things. And again, this is something that I feel like did not need to be replicated, did not need to be copied or added to any more Call of Duties. These freebies just, they're always annoying at some point, especially like seeing targets through walls and stuff for no reason. And the common excuse seems to be realism with all the things that they've added to the game, as if most of the perks in the game are realistic, like being able to use scavenger to retrieve ammo for your weapon, which may take a completely different kind of ammunition than the gun that your enemy dropped, or the perk that shows you enemy footsteps on concrete and every other surface in the game, or even being able to regain your grenades or other equipment every 30 seconds, because yes, that's the perk. What's even more confusing is that they literally have a mode called Realism, where you have no HUD, no minimap, no hit mark, or kill indicators, among other things. So I don't understand why they need to extend the quote-unquote realism to the rest of the modes in the game anyway. You know, they already have stated that they're going to be giving the pro players minimaps during competitive matches, so I'm just like scratching my head wondering who missed their bipolar meds at Infinity Ward. Clearly somebody has if they think that pro players are deserving of a minimap, but the other 99.9% of the community are not. Kill streaks are back instead of score streaks. That's another problem, because when you combine camping to get streaks with a lack of a minimap, it's just a camper's dream. It's camping paradise. Without the minimap to see where your friendlies are and where the spawns are typically going to be, it will be much more difficult to figure out where the enemies will be, especially in a game with such random map designs. Which again, making the maps less about 3 lanes and more about their power positioning is somehow supposed to make the game more realistic. And I'll admit it, some people hate the simple 3-lane map design, but I'm not one of them. I prefer maps that are easy to navigate because it forces you to have better aim or lose gunfights. Essentially, if you know that straight ahead of you, somewhere you'll likely encounter an enemy, and they know the same thing, it boils down to who reacts faster and has better aim. You know, with these random types of maps, it turns into who has the high ground or is lucky enough to not get shot in the back. Even things like the respawn delay in standard core modes seem unnecessary in Call of Duty, where getting back into the action has pretty much always been the objective. You know, when you put all these new elements together, I can't help but get the sense that I'm playing some new Battlefield game. Between the bullet drop, the number of attachments, the maps that have no flow, the increased weapon recoil, the larger mode that is a complete rip-off of Conquest 20v20, which will probably be more, it just reeks of Battlefield. Now, this isn't a bad thing on its own merit, but again, as a Call of Duty, it can easily translate into a horrible experience. Now, I've tried to imagine how difficult it would be for the devs to convert Modern Warfare into a classic Call of Duty, and honestly, I don't think it's possible. You know, the minimap situation would be an extremely easy fix, but converting back to score streaks instead of kill streaks, getting rid of the recharging abilities, narrowing down all the attachments to maybe 15 or 20, which, you know, don't have negative effects on your gun, making the bullets hit scan, all that stuff would be unlikely to see in this game. You know, that's the thing though, to actually play like a classic Call of Duty, all these things would have to occur, and as much as I hate Black Ops 4, the sad truth is that that game would have been much easier to turn into a classic style Call of Duty. All they would have needed to do is put the health back to 100, drop the specialists, and make weapons earnable. Problem solved. Obviously, Black Ops 4 is still lacking in the map department, both in quantity and quality, which, in my opinion, and is missing a campaign. But still, it'd be easier to fix that game than this new Modern Warfare. So now on to the positives. You know, I've been hoping for an upgraded graphics engine for many years now, and we finally got it. The fact that this game is now going to rival some of the Battlefield games as far as the visuals and map sizes go is great. They did exactly what I had thought they should, and they got a branch of their development team, I guess over in Sweden or Denmark, somewhere over in Europe, to work on a new engine for the past few years, and it looks like their effort has paid off. They also finally made the maps free for everyone, which is awesome. Ever since DLC became a thing, it's been the same story every year. After the first DLC drops, finding matches becomes a pain in the ass, and with most of the recent games being borderline terrible, the player counts have been even smaller, so free maps are definitely a great thing. And on the topic of player counts, Crossplay is going to be extremely helpful in that regard. Now, obviously, I don't like dying to aim assist, but controller users probably don't like being killed by snappy mouse aim either, so it's trade-off both ways. And as long as the aim assist isn't extremely strong, I don't think I'll care too much, especially since it means I'll finally be able to play domination in this game for years, at any time of the day or night, because I usually play late. I'll go ahead and throw the campaign in as a positive as well, even though it may not turn out being something that I'm into. We haven't had a great campaign in a few years, so it will be nice being able to experience that while also being able to level up your character at the same time. You know, that's something else they added. Regardless of which portion of the game you're playing, whether it's single player, standard multiplayer modes, or whatever their other mode will be, you will be earning upgrades and experience towards your character and weaponry. Now, this kind of reminds me of how war worked in World War II. It was one of my favorite modes because you didn't have to focus so much on your kill-death ratio, it was more about winning. And that's the same thing with Modern Warfare. You don't have to play the multiplayer to grind. You can grind in any mode you want to, which is great. To round out the positives, you've obviously got the game on Battlenet, which will keep most of the cheaters away. Decent looking kill streaks, even though they aren't score streaks. Some great sounding audio effects, other than the sound of your own footsteps being too loud. Being able to change your class builds and attachments during a match, which is really cool. You can actually just, at any point, just hit escape, I guess, go to the menu and swap out attachments. And also what appears to be most of the fan favorite game modes are returning. Now, all in all, it's definitely something that I want to play, but unfortunately it looks like this year's Call of Duty is no closer to feeling like it used to than we've been since probably Ghosts. So it kind of is what it is. I'll be sure to post a bunch of gameplay when the beta drops, and I'll probably pre-order it so that I'll be able to have more time to try it out. And if it sucks, I can just get a refund. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.